We are back with some legacy action. I am, of course, NanMan, bringing you all the coverage over here at NanMan's Nerd Corner, and we've got some legacy action today. Of course, we do have it set up split throughout the week. Beginning of the week is our modern coverage, and the end of the week is our legacy coverage. So make sure you guys are following along. Subscribe for all that kind of magic action over here on the channel. But let's dive into it, talk a little bit about these decks and what we're going to be expecting to see in this match, because it is going to be a combo deck versus a control deck. And we've got the Jeskai Control list, which is very different in Legacy compared to Modern, because the goal of the Jeskai Control list is set up and designed to control the battlefield and sort of take over that way, and slowly get into a winning position, and then win through things like Fourth Air Lingus. All right, it's all about the battlefield control elements. But we do see over on the other side, it is a combo deck, Affinity Fantasticar. We've seen some variations of the Fantasticar pop up because it is about 25% of the meta are Fantasticar decks at this point in time in Legacy. We've got Eternal Weekends coming up in the near future, and we're going to wait and see. I believe there's going to be... I don't know. I expect them not to make an announcement before Eternal Weekend. I expect something to come after that, but we've got... a few. There's one happening in Europe. There's one happening in the U.S. There's one happening in Asia. So we're going to have multiple. But we see the attempted Fantasticar, and that's going to be met with a Force Negation here. So this is the combo that the deck is trying to do. It's trying to have a Fantasticar on the battlefield, cast 4 spells, and go. Trigger it, pop that, turn it into 4/4/4 flying haste creatures to be able to just sort of go, here's an OTK sort of style of strategy, or a 2-turn clock, right? Drop you to 4 life and then pass, and then you have to find a way to answer all of that. So we'll see how that works out here as, the baubles continue to grow, which leans into the second side that this deck is trying to do as the affinity list, is dump a bunch of things, trying to resolve a Kappa. Now, the Kappa is going to be pretty scary because it does have that ward 4. Also has this ability, whenever an artifact enters, you put a +1 counter on it. Kappa gets access to being able to be unblockable there. But we see a fetch into Dress Down to basically turn off the Kappa Cannoneer, no longer being able to have that ward, which does give this Jeskai Control player a window of opportunity, because we're doing this on the end step, not the beginning of the end step, but on your end step here. Flash in, Dress Down. So then I get to be able to utilize it on my turn while Kappa is still vulnerable and weak. There we go. Setting ourselves up. What do we got to work with here? Swords to Plowshare is what we need to help answer it. We've got 1 in hand, so we do see a nice attempt to cast the Swords to Plowshare, met with a Force, pitching a Kappa, hoping it's enough to stick around here. Let's see if that is going to work out. Do we get a Wizard Battle? Oh, there's a Force Negation, but we cannot cast that for free because it is on our turn. All right, so that will be able to let the Force of Will stop the swords. Kappa can be able to start running away with things here. So now we're going to be setting up and hoping we don't get chunked too much here. So a little bit of a ponder. You see some tools up at the top here, so we got to look at those top 3. Decide to keep them in a specific order or just shuffle them all away. We don't like it. Reshuffle and then draw a card. So we had a Tamiyo, we had a Murktide, and another Ponder. So some solid cards, but that also lets us know that, okay, we have no land coming up, so whatever we see here is basically what we get until we get to that other Ponder. Do we want to be able to get up to that Murktide? Is that going to be able to help us to try to close out the game? I mean, having a way to close out the game is definitely important, but also surviving to be able to do that. Because even if we have a Murktide, we might not be able to block because of the ability that Kappa just keeps growing. All right, keeping the Ponder on top. I like that. End step, Dress Down will disappear. Untapping. Now, we won't be able to have a lot of resources here, so we're hoping we get an artifact. There's a lot. It's a lot of these 0-drop stuff. So not a lot of impactful things, but looks like we'll just swing in for 5. And now we can start popping. Let me just look at a card from your hand at random. Let's take a look at this. Ooh, what was it? Were you paying attention? It's going to be the second on the left. Oh, Murktide on top. Okay. Draw 2. Boom. Boom. Oh, flow state, I believe, is what we saw. All right, cast the flow state. It does have access to 2, so we've got an instant end sorcery in the graveyard. We get to look at the top 3 cards and pick 2 of them and put them into our hand. Flow state's really cool if you can be able to fit it in. I've been trying to just sort of sprinkle in like a 2 of in a lot of my lists lately. Just because like once it's on, it's great. Otherwise, just being able to just sort of anticipate is not as great, right? 2 mana, look at the top 3, pick 1. It doesn't feel as good as being able to 2 mana, look at 3, get 2. Like not only replace itself, but also gain an extra card. Just, 2 mana replace itself doesn't feel as good. Thanks, I hate it. It was the response from our control player here. So yeah, how have you guys been enjoying the take over the Fantasticar in Legacy? We've got a couple of other matches to be able to show off in the next coming weeks. We wanted to make sure we got through a lot of our Fantasticar content early in case it does get banned, because it is a potential. There is that kind of looming threat almost of that being able to disappear. Like, we know that is a thing that could happen, so we're sort of in this, like, okay, if it does, let's at least release the content. We also had a big wave of a lot of Fantasticar Week 1 at our LGS for the Legacy Invitational that we're hosting, and since then, a lot of players have moved away from the Fantasticar and have just shifted into other decks. So it's been interesting to see what people are doing and how they're sort of navigating the meta. All right, another Bobble Pop. Planes on top, trying to basically refill our hand, because again, the idea of the Affinity Fantasticar is you're going to be deploying 4 cards in a turn to be able to pop this Fantasticar, and a lot of the cards that we're playing are just cards that are basically things like this: a Lotus Petal, a do nothing card, right? It doesn't really help us and do anything. Neither do the baubles really help us to progress our game plan other than get some information, but putting a good clock on our opponent with this Kappa. 7 damage. We're threatening lethal next turn. Got a Force in hand, but I don't think we have a... Oh, we have a Fantasticar. All right, Big Murky. Let's get rid of 5 cards here. So I'm making an 8/8 flyer. Ooh, we only have 4. Keep the flow state in there. Hard cast the Force of Will. Oh, take 2 life. 1 card left in hand. Oh, I like that. He says, is that Daze? Do you have Daze?
We're going to play high risk, high reward magic.
Ooh, I like that. We're going to play high risk, high reward magic. I like this. You know, that's the nice thing about the LGS is the kind of banter that players will often have when they're playing in their matches. Of course, this is part of our shop's invitational. They've got a 10-week legacy season, and then they're going to rotate the format for the next season, and these are, of course, taking place every Friday, with the couple of exceptions that are popping up, like we've got the Hobbit pre-release coming up, so that will be a little bit of a skip mode taking place there. Ooh, dress down. Let's try to draw into something and also shut off the Kappa. Yeah, there it is. So we've got the follow-up Swords to Plowshare here. This is all on the stack. Basically trying to reset the board state. And Force is good. So Kappa's gone. Force is gone. Dress down's gone. Battlefield. The dust has settled. What do we got to work with here? Oh, there's a Fantasticar. Force negation is going to get utilized here, though. Boomerang Basics. I tried a couple of times without the Boomerang Basics, and I feel like the Boomerang Basics is definitely more impactful. Bounces, 0 cost, draw a card, you know, set yourself up better. Saving it. Interesting. I guess it's like deploy it now. That's only one spell. If we can be able to chain a bunch together, then it opens up the ability to just immediately utilize the Fantasticar because the tokens do have haste. So we'll see. Another ponder. Digging through, looking through, trying to find something worthwhile. Now, I'm not sure if my life totals are 100% accurate, you know, fetching, beating of the Kappa, maybe there was a force. I don't think there's been any force of wills yet for a Jeskai Control player. So I'm doing my best to try to keep it accurate and up to date from the VOD that we're seeing here. Of course, because we do record all of these up at our LGS and then go back through and edit them afterward to be able to put the life totals, put the card images up, just to make the viewing as easy as possible for anybody that maybe isn't as familiar with Legacy or isn't as familiar with this format in particular, or some of these cards that are played. So we do see the Fantasticar trying to get deployed. He says, if you can't deal 16 damage to me right now, it resolves. I like that. You see the Force of Negation in hand in Murktide, but we don't want to deploy it. Boomerang Basics, though. This is spell number 2. We're going to draw a card, bounce the Mox. We're hoping to draw into anything here. Like a Thought Cast. You know, all right, now we're going to put a stop to that. That's a really good one to fight over there. Force of Negation, stop the Boomerang Basics. 2 spells. Okay, Storm count 0 again. Reset. Ooh, Force of Will's now here. All right. Clue number 1 here for Tamiyo. Of course, 3 spells. Well, 3 cards need to be drawn in a turn to be able to flip Tamiyo. Prismatic Ending is a good way to answer the Fantasticar. We've got, of course, 3 mana that we can pump into it. Blue, white, and red. Get rid of this 3-cost artifact. Ooh, Thought Monitor's here. Of course, that Affinity will help. Now, we are draining a little bit of life. Oh, that's really nice. Pop the clue, drew into the blue spell we needed, and force. All right. Nothing else we can do here. Jeskai Control player currently Hellbent. Affinity Fantasticar down to 1 card. I mean, this is the thing about Legacy. If you're not familiar with it, it's such a resource draining, taxing format of like, how well can I be able to do it? And there are times where you're just like, I'm Hellbent and my opponent has like 3 cards and I don't know how this happened. Or, oh, we're now both Hellbent here. We're both sitting in top deck mode trying to piece something together because we've just been trading all of these resources for each other, 2 for 1-ing or 1 for 1-ing each other here, and just, you know, it's been a big setup. But now we're seeing the Tamiyo flip. Will this be able to take over the game, though? I mean, Tamiyo is crazy. I was playing my Is It Wizards at Modern recently and just being like, yeah, I wanted to play Flame of Anor, so I'm just running 4 of Tamiyos just so I can play Flame of Anor. Oh, next car trying to get deployed. Do we have... I mean, we've got a force. Do we care? If he doesn't pop it now, we're okay. I like this. Pop a clue. Let's find something. Okay. Pop another clue. Another prismatic ending. So we're kind of in this, like... Yeah, all right. We're fine. We're fine with your car. Boomerang Basics, though. Ooh. Spell number 2. I like this. Now we can fight over it. Put the stopper there. saying no, no, you may not. I like that a lot. Is you're not necessarily fighting over the Fantasticar, you're fighting over the follow-up stuff, especially when your opponent's low on resources. Earlier on, if they aren't as low on resources, you can try to fight over the Fantasticar, but in this case where they're like, no, I'm really relying on my draws to help me guarantee this flip because I'm strained and bottleneck on cards that I can be able to chain together here. Ooh, Flow State coming back with the -3 off Tamiya. You see the sort of debate about how we position our mana can be very important and very impactful here. You see this sort of like, okay, I need 3 mana, 1 of each color, to be able to get me access to Prismatic Ending. I also need to make sure that I have the right amount of mana to spend into this. So, you know, a deck that's heavy in basics often runs things like back to basics and stuff like that. So you have to be aware of that. Or it runs like the Wizard package with, you know, oh, there's a Prismatic. Say goodbye. Followed up with a Tamiya. Pass turn. But also could run some of the like Magus of the Moons or things like that. All right, Bobble Pass. All right, things are looking. This is the thing about the Jeskai Control list of these like almost stabilization moments that you get into of like, okay, I'm low on life, but I've survived. It's all about getting to that moment of survive, 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 survive. Okay, I've turned the corner. Now we can start to actually play this game. All right, make some clues. Got another Flow State, though. We're tapping the red, though. I guess it's fine at this point. Yeah, some of the other Jeskai Control lists will run like a Flage. Like, there's different ways you can build the control. I think that's the cool thing about Legacy is these tools that you have access to. And speaking of tools, Triumph of Saint Catherine, a.k.a. Baneslayer Angel. I like this. 5/5 lifelink. When it dies, exile it and the top 6 cards of your library in a face-down pile. If you do, shuffle the pile and put it back on top of your library. Now, it also has the miracle cost, so you can pay 2 and cast it for that instead of, you know, its normal amount if it's the first card you draw each turn. Ooh. Lorien Revealed. That's a pretty good Magic card. All right. Ooh, we have another Fantasticar. Will this one be able to go? Seat of the Synod. Fantasticar. He says, uh-oh. All right. The Baneslayer is going to be nice. All right. Okay, so they did a life total check, and they both listed themselves as 1 life higher. But I think they missed a Force of Will here at this point. Both of them were like, I'm at 14, I'm at 5, or I'm at 15, I'm at 5. But I have it listed at 4, but I could be off, right? I could be wrong. That's, you know, based off of what they're saying. You know, we're gaining 5 life. I'm listing it at 9. They think they're at 10. I don't know. The challenges of doing the recorded match and not being able to just like have the life total trackers for everybody here. But we do the best we can, right? Trying to help bring you guys some great content over at the channel. Whether it's modern, whether it's legacy, whether it's cube stuff. Because we still got some cool cube content. Of course, we do those pack one, pick ones on our other social media, but we're working on trying to maybe set up a cube day coming up to do and play some cube. I gotta check with my LGS and see what their weekend schedules look like. Maybe we can plan for a Saturday to host a cube event at the shop. I think that would be it. That'd be a ton of fun. Oh, back to basic. We were talking about that earlier. Does it really do anything? I mean, sort of, not really here. Ooh, down tick. What are we returning? Go for another flow state, go for a force. Hey, you see the debate. Which do we want? What do we want? 2 cards in hand. Return prismatic ending. I like that. Let's prismatic. Exile this. That would be what, the 3rd car? Oh, just kidding. Sink into stupor. Yeah, we were like, can I return this? No, I'll return your Baneslayer Angel to your hand. Yeah, right? We're so used to flashback that we're like, oh, this should go in the exile pile. No, it shouldn't. All right, there we see the back to basics coming up. Meaning the seat of the Cyanods will not be able to untap. I mean, there still is the Mox and things like that to get around it, but it is definitely trying to bottleneck your opponent on their mana. Strain them a little bit here. Was that Thought? Okay. Thought Cast is pretty good. Yeah, Thought Cast is pretty good. Draw 2. What's our follow-up here? Emery is also really good. We can at least get back one of our fantastic cars. The others have been exiled. We can also, I think there's a Kappa in there. Maybe not. Man, this has been a really good first game for this match, though. Like, such a back and forth moment for these players to really just sort of do these life total swings and stabilizing and then falling behind and then stabilizing. Like, definitely exciting stuff. All right, there's the uptick. The least can weaken some of, not that we're worried about it, but every little bit counts. More clues. Ooh, lots of mana. Oh, okay. So it's like, do I go for the double trigger, draw a bunch of cards, and just do that? It's not a bad line. So Tammy will flip. We'll keep this new one. Uptick. So now it's got 2 -1, right? -2, -0 on all attacking creatures next turn. Oh, Wrath of Skies. Going for 0. Kills all the clues, kills all the Moxes, kills all of the Seed of the Cyanods. Really good reset there. So they do the confirmation. Have you tapped this yet? Nope, not yet. Have not. There is a fantastic car available. Attempt. I would like to target this car. I would like to play this car. This is spell number 1. Can we pop it? Spell number 2. Spell number 3. And Skateboard. 4 spell trigger. Pop the fantastic car. Here are 4/4/4 flying haste artifact creatures with 2, 4, 6, 8. They're going to be 2/4s when they attack. Oh my gosh. So this is where life totals matter between the players. They have themselves, like our Jeskai Control player is listing themselves at 9 life, not 8 like we had. And I think there was a point of damage that we might have tracked or they didn't track, or vice versa, related to maybe a Force of Will or a fetch land, something. But I could be wrong. But we're going off of still alive. Like, I just spent all this time writing car, and you're going to bring back this Rathus guys and kill my cars?
I got 4, but they're gonna go
X is 3. Destroys the back to basic, but basically wipes through and kills everything. No more Emery, no more resetting it. Bye-bye, cars.
I'm at 1. Jesus. Brother.
Ooh, the stabilization at 1. Flow state's real good. Yeah, Rathus guys putting in work. Yeah, this is not the only version of Fantasticar that exists or is running around. It's just the, you know, the one that our shop has been playing. There's also the Doomsday. There's also just the Demir, like, value pile with it. Oh, Emery number 2? To pay some life to do it, though.
You're at 9.
Okay.
No, I'm at 5. You're at 9. Oh, you're at 1. My bad.
I'm at 1.
I'm at 5.
Oh,
I was like, I might have missed life total there for their Fantasticar player. They say they're at 5, so I might have missed an activation of the Ancient Tomb. So that's why this is the challenge of me doing my best to try to track through the lights. Oh no, there's the 4th Aerlingus. That'll do it. That'll do it. That's how you end the game with this deck. Looking for a way to close out the game? Just cast 4th Aerlingus and run over your opponent with all these knights. So very, very cool, exciting game number 1. A little bit of a long, grindy one, but the match is not over. We're going to get ready to go into sideboards here and get into game number 2 in this best of 3 series here.
Skateboard. Skateboard, I'm dead as hell. Yeah.
We're interrupting our gameplay to let you know about our new affiliate with Nerdgear. Nerdgear.gg/NanMan will take you directly to the website, and as you can see, they've got a bunch of awesome gaming accessories from playmats, life counters with the life tracks, playmat holders, and more. So make sure you do some browsing on the site, find some goodies, and then use the code NGNanman for 5% off your entire order. But let's get back to our gameplay. All right, let's get back into it, shall we? Fantasticar versus Control. This has been I don't know. I like that first round, even if my math was off and the life totals were slightly off for it. The way that they tracked it is the important part. How are the players tracking their life totals? How are they monitoring, keeping up with everything to make sure things seem as accurate as possible?
Do the thing.
All right, do we like our opening hands? Do we have any sideboard tools to help us here? Those are always the questions we ask. Urza Saga's pretty nice. And it's the sweet whiteboarder version. I love me the whiteboard. Hey, Aether Spellbomb. Big fan of that one. All right, so a big thing with the affinity list that you need to look for is how much they are throwing down on the first turn or not. Because that kind of lets you know, are they going for a Kappa Cannoneer line, big man Kappa, or are they going for a Fantasticar line? All right, City of Traders, Tormod Crypt, Mox. That is our... Oh, there's the Kappa. We got a Force. Brainstorm. We're digging. I think we're trying to go for a Force. Oh, we've got one, though. Put these back on top. 2 cards. What's the likelihood that you still have a Force of Will left? All right, there's the Force of Will. Going to 19 here. Pitching the Brainstorm. Yep, that's fine. All right. Now we still, like... I think this is one of those challenge moments, too, of going, is it better to play the Kappa there, knowing our opponent has a lot of cards, or do we deploy a construct that makes it harder for them to deal with? Yeah, they might have to force it or something like that, or not. They can't really force it, but they have Path or Swords to Plowshares that they can use. And now we got to make another construct, but I still feel like we should have been up a construct and then save the Kappa. But we'll see what we get off of the Urza Saga, because this is one of those lines that we could do of like Urza Saga into Skateboard into push for big damage here and try to close out the game and pivot into that plan B, plan C element of the deck and not just go full on. Let's go for the race car. All right, Mishra's Bobble. Not a bad one to grab. Save now, like we could save the skateboard for a later time, or we could have boarded out the skateboard. I'm not sure if we needed some tools. Do some basic island cycling here. Not necessarily basic. We can get duels. We can be able to get surveils. We can get any of those that's got an island in its name. Hey, look at that. Utilizing the sweet token that we've got here. You'd love to see that. Of course, we've got those. Those are our business cards / tokens that we've got. Inkling Customs did our tokens for us there. So if you ever see us at an event, we are giving those out to people to be able to have. It's a cool little construct token. All right. What do we got here? Rathus, guys. Oh. Am I going to get days? No days in. All right. So we can blow up the graveyard. We can draw a card. Yep. Pop this. Draw a card. Tormod's Crypt. Get rid of your graveyard. And then my little 2/2 and Mox goes away. It says you'll have 1 energy left. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was just curious. So it's just for 0 then?
Okay, yeah. This would be the list left.
Yep, then 0. Yep. So I'm just going to score 1.
Just confirming. It's like, okay, you've popped all this stuff. You have nothing left that's a 1-drop. So I will pay 1 energy, or I'll gain 1 energy and pay none into it and just get rid of all your zeros. All right, now we're all set up here. Flow state. All right, now City of Traders will get sacked when we play another land. So we're going to have to be like, float 2 mana, play something, and kind of go from there. All right, drew off Bobble, drawing for turn. Very important, not forgetting our drawing off the bobble adventures. How do we navigate our way out of this? All right, float to Ancient Tomb, pass turn. Oh, that is really good. Cast this for the miracle cost. Triumph of Saint Catherine. Warhammer Adventures. Speaking of some tabletop stuff, we've got a in transition currently, in transit, a bunch of tabletop stuff to open and build and paint. The Archon Studios has started producing StarCraft tabletop stuff. So I have pre-ordered a bunch of it. It is currently on its way, and we'll probably do a couple of building and painting streams in the fall. We'll do at least an unboxing video and just sort of do some fun stuff. Ooh, I like that boomerang basics on our opponent's stuff. So yeah, if you're into the tabletop stuff and want to check that out, you know, you can see we've got, of course, the description has all of our socials and other links. I'm not sure. We'll probably do like a cross stream between YouTube and Twitch. But, ooh, 4th Aerolingus here for 2 2/2s with trample. And our goal is to be able to get the Monarch. I would like to gain the Monarch. I love the token choices that our Jeskai Control player has. All right, Fantasticar. We'll lose some life. Can we do something about that? Oh, the Null Rod in hand. Force, but nothing else to do. Oh, yeah, we have a Thought Monitor, but not much here. Okay, Force of Negation, Force of Will. A lot of tools. Null Rod. I mean, this looks like a just clear... We'll push with another Knight. Ba-bam. 4 damage. Drops to 10. Get a draw at the end of turn. I don't mind the Null Rod play. Yeah, there it is. Null Rod. Players cannot play any artifact abilities requiring an activation cost. So that Seed of Cyanod, activate, of course, tap, activate, get a blue mana. Because it doesn't say anything about mana abilities are not available, right? Urza's Bobble. Ooh, in response, cast a dress down. That is good. Tough. Sack it at the end, basically just trying to blanket things. Still, we talked about this in game number 1 of this sort of, you know, that kind of swinginess of like, oh, I'm down to like 3 cards, my opponent has 5, or I'm down to like 1 card, my opponent has 4, right? Like there does feel like there is this scale that tips in one player's favor or the other, and sometimes that is related to utilizing the Force of Wills and 2-for-1ing and being able to stop something really scary, but keeping yourself going and progressing and staying alive. But right now we're seeing Mystic Sanctuary. We can go put a tool back on top. I mean, if we're worried, we put Wrath of Skies on top. If we want to close out the game, we put 4th Aerolingus on top. Yeah, grab 4th Aerolingus, especially when our opponent's at 6. This makes sense. Put this on top. Oh, the high risk play. Let's do the full amount. blow everything up. Saying 3 or less. So let's kill everything and hope for a big payout next turn, which we know there is. Draw for turn. Or sorry, draw on the end step because of the Monarch. Now draw for turn. Fetch. Ooh, the Thought Monitor stuck in hand really hurts. Yeah, this is that challenge of going, wow, this deck is definitely designed currently to beat the Fantasticar. A lot of tools to help out.
Alright, I'll see you in the morning. Catch you later. I'm resolving one more spell, hopefully. Cast this.
I like that. I'm resolving one more spell, hopefully. Fourth Aerlingus, and will be met with a Force of Negation, which will then be met with a Force of Will, and we've got all the knights coming across. Running them over. What a game. Now we get to see a little bit of the sideboard stuff. Tormod Crypts, the Aether Spellbomb. I like the Aether Spellbomb main board personally in mine, but double Tormod Crypt, Force of Negation. Yeah, game 1 was crazy though with the amount of cars deployed, stopped, like non-stop basically. 3 of them, 4 of them. I don't know. There were so many. But yeah, I like that. I was just at 1 life for 1,000,000 turns. Deafening Silence is really cool because it's like stops your opponent from being able to cast a bunch of spells that they want to do. Consign is really nice.
It's just expensive.
No, for him.
Yeah, it's expensive though because everything he has to do has to be like 1 or 0.
Yeah, but
He needs a
you only
critical
can do
mass.
one spell at a time though, so like the whole point of when you run into Deafening Silence, you just balance it.
Oh yeah. You could probably bounce it.
Yeah, so they're discussing about how to deal with like a Deafening Silence, and that's where like the back to basic comes in. Meltdown, yep, makes sense. Second, a Deafening Silence. Third, Consign. I was like, I thought there was a Null Rod too. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, this is the cool thing about the control deck is like how you can build to deal with it, and like we saw so much sideboard dedicated just to deal with the Fantasticar, and our control player there made top 16 at the DMV event there with that list. So definitely really cool to be able to see. Of course, if you guys enjoy this content, make sure you're following along, subscribing, leaving those comments, spreading the video around, all that good stuff. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning and watching, y'all, and we'll see you all next game.